tell the story about a woman with an issue. Had it 12 long years, didn't know what to do. She heard about a man coming through her town. She fell to her knees and crawled on the ground. Oh, this is what she said, y'all. She said, if I could only touch but the hem of his garment, I'ma give it all I have. Moment. Come on, help me say, y'all. This ain't no ordinary world. Oh, no it ain't, no it ain't, no it ain't. This ain't no ordinary world. Yeah, the God I serve is greater. The God I serve is greater than the ordinary. So I'ma give it all I have. I'ma give it all I have.
Subscribe. Hit the correct. We got a mess going on. Father in heaven, we come this morning just thanking you for all that you've done. Father, we thank you for bringing us through this last week's freeze. Father, keeping each and every one of us safe, Father. We thank you for lifting us up, Father, carrying us through and making us able to just come through and come out this morning on the other side saying praise you, praise God for all that you have done. It's in the name of Jesus that we pray. Amen. Yeah. Got a little bit too much going on. Amen. Good morning, and welcome to the Rowlett Friendship Baptist Church for real. I'm Reverend Eric Edison, and on my right is your left is our Reverend Anton Smith. Good morning, Reverend Smith. How are you doing?
Good morning. Doing good, man.
Good. Yeah.
Doing good.
Took last week off on me, Reverend Smith.
No, I didn't.
You was here in the ice.
No.
Okay, I'm just messing with you.
I didn't take it.
I'm messing with you. Good to see you again, brother. I'm glad to see you came through the freeze just like the rest of us.
Good.
Outstanding.
Good to be here.
Outstanding. What's his name?
Dr. Benjamin.
Dr. Benjamin. Deacon Benjamin is back with us this morning. Our chairman, our deacon boys. Morning, Deacon.
Morning, everybody.
How you doing, sir?
Doing awesome.
You all right?
Glad to be here.
Good. Same here. Same here. Pastor, good morning.
Morning, Edison.
You all right?
I'm good. How you doing this
I'm
morning?
doing pretty good.
You all right, man?
Outstanding.
Because you're forgetting people's names this morning.
I can never remember this fella's name. I don't know whether he's a doctor or, I don't know what
You was struggling with Smith's name and Benjamin's name.
You wonder if he know his own name.
You had your orange juice this morning, right?
I did have my orange juice. Sometimes I had to write my name down. Pastor, I want to tell you, outstanding class yesterday. I needed that. Coming out of the deep freeze, I needed a good uplifting of the word, and you brought it yesterday. I just want to tell you that.
Well, I appreciate that. It was a deep topic.
It was.
To have in February, so.
Yeah, it was.
I was grateful to have our brothers from across the street, Vineyard Church came over, and so
yeah.
So it was good. It was good lesson.
And yeah, it was a good lesson, and I was blessed by their stories too. They, so amen. All right, well, welcome back after a week off, after our ice bowl. Thank all you gentlemen for coming out this morning. I know it's still a little cold, but the ice is gone. Texas is warming up. We're on the thaw.
Mm-hmm.
Touched a little bit on what we covered 2 weeks ago. Was am I my brother's keeper? We were going to come back in and talk a little bit more about that, but that's too far removed now. None of us remember nothing that was going on or nothing that was said. So we're just going to jump right in this morning on our topic today, which is separation anxiety. Now, to bring us up to speed, separation anxiety is just a disorder that may be associated with panic disorder or panic attacks, repeated episodes of sudden feelings of intense anxiety and the fear of terror that reaches to peak within minutes. And I thought we needed to, we should talk about this morning, because we as adults don't always be truthful to ourselves or others, because we've gotten older and we've learned, how to hide stuff and learn how to get past. But separation anxiety is most widely known in babies between the ages of 6 months and 18 months, and it usually occurs when mom goes back to work or mom gets back into her routine, and then that child is not used to being around mom 24/7. So when mom leave, some of you babysitters can contest to this, that the first few days that mom is away from that child is in a constant cry, in a constant, that's where they get the separation anxiety. Now when it comes to adults are a little bit more tricky. And I did some research, and all the research said that all of the tests that was done, research that was done on adults, was inconclusive, because adults have learned how to lie. They've learned how to mask what they truly feel. They've learned how to not show what's going on with them. So it's hard. It's a harder search for the adults. But we want to get into this morning, and since we've covered what is separation anxiety. How do we deal with this pandemic? But this pandemic that's been going on for the last 12 months now. And then right at the end of the pandemic, when it looks just like we're about to get back out of the house again, we get a freeze. Now, I want to ask y'all something before we go into this. Did y'all learn anything about yourself, about others, during last week's freeze? Anybody?
Well, I would always say this: every time there's times of difficulty, you see, and I love this about human nature. It makes me wonder, should we just be in this continual issues in our life, because the good of people come out. I mean, it was more, I know people, a lot of people were angry about what was going on with the electricity, but you heard people going out of their way, helping their neighbors, going out of their way, and every year the group that Jeepers, the four-wheelers, who every time there's a snow, they go out of their way to make sure. I mean, we have been a blessing at the VA. Well, they're gonna pick up nurses and doctors in their four-wheel drives and for free, and bring them in and take them home, and you just keep hearing this overwhelming where neighbors were letting neighbors come into the house, and people were going. I mean, you hear those things, and through all of the craziness, man, the heartfelt things that people were doing, that going and check on their neighbors. And so I would say what I learned is that we have the capacity to be good. And my only question is why that only comes out at certain times. And you'll see some of the hardest people to deal with come out of their cells and be the good neighbor.
Yeah.
So it's built into us to do that. And I just say that overwhelmingly through all of the craziness. I keep asking my question, why we can't do this all the time? Why we can't be this good-natured people all the time?
Yeah, that's my question too, Pastor, because, it's going to always be the craziness. I don't even think we should accent on the craziness this month, because there's always the craziness, the grocery stores are overrun, things like that. That is coming. But like Pastor said, I was more shocked with there was this couple that owned the restaurant. And they knew they weren't going to be able to do any business, so they kept cooking, just like the ice storm wasn't even there, and they started delivering everything that they cooked for free, and it was just incidents like that just popping up everywhere, where people were just saying, you know what, it's not about me this time, let me do something for somebody that needs it. Now I was a little shocked about what happened in Houston with the sea turtles. That kind of threw me a little bit, where they had the warming, how they do the building, the warming building,
Right.
where you can go through.
And they were saving the sea turtles.
They had a couple 100,000 sea turtles in there, and no people. I was a little thrown by that one. I was like, okay, I guess sea turtles got to make it too, huh? But they had set up this warming building, and it was a big place. They had almost 1,000 sea turtles in there.
and and the people were still cold. But I thought that was a little above and beyond. But signs of goodness was all over the place, even for the animals.
Yeah, man, and I think the signs of goodness to me overpowered all of the negativity.
Yeah.
Even there wasn't much signs of goodness, but just that little, those little efforts that the restaurant owner made, the efforts that the neighbors made to let their neighbors come stay with them, take their neighbors' food, going out their way, walking a mile to go take some elderly people food and water. That right there was what to me overpowered all the negativity that was going on.
We had a situation in my house to where I'm sure all of y'all, your power went out at some point. You lose power, Reverend Zero?
Oh, for like 40-some hours.
Yeah. I think you didn't lose no power, Pastor. Oh, okay. Lord bless the children.
I would say I felt, and I was talking to one of the guys from Vineyard yesterday. My power never went out, never flickered, and I found myself, every day, because I text everybody, checking everybody, I text everybody. So I'm feeling like, man, I think I text Green. Green texted a couple times, and Green lives literally across the highway from me. But I think that we were the benefit of them just building a power plant. Literally just finished building a power plant this last fall in our neighborhood. And so Faith used to be, if the wind blew too much, the power would go out. So they upgraded that, and that's a brand new place that was ready for anything, the weather and all that. So our plant never went down. So
is there a hospital or fire department close to you?
No, nothing. Okay. Literally they did that because when we moved there, the wind would blow hard and we would lose power for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It could be sun shining, no problem, and the wind just gusts one time, we would lose power. And so we had said, did we move to the right place? Because, we lose power. We lost power more in Faith than we did the whole time we was in Mesquite. In the first 3 months we was in Faith. So they did. So we were the benefit of that through this all. But through it all, I kept thinking, man, I feel kind of bad because I'm hearing, people out with power for 40 hours and 20 hours and every 15 minutes. And I kept waiting. And everybody responded back to it. I said, we haven't lost power yet. And so we never did. And so I felt myself being like, man, I feel bad that people now are out there without power, and we never lost power. But we want. Also, we've been very conservative with our power too. So we put the thermostat down. We kept it between 68 and 70. We didn't have stuff running throughout the house. We would watch TV in one room. Then Georgia came in. We kept so we were being very conscious of the fact that we had it. But yeah, that was interesting.
There was the thing that happened to us was. We lost power for about 14, 16 hours. We was in the first stage, and I don't think we was a part of the rollout. I think we was a part of the blackout. Because normally we're not a part of the rollout. We live close to them people, and and their lights don't go out. That's just the way it is. We're not usually not affected, but we were. But what it did was, it was shocking that I saw, because there's a few of my neighbors, close neighbors that I don't know. So me and Gene, the guy that's right behind me, we think it's thieves. Okay. So as soon as the fire went out, me and Gene touched bases, and we found out how we were situated with firewood, because once the power goes out, now you gotta rely on the firewood in the fireplace, until you get it through. So me and Gene done split firewood between us. Most of it coming from him. I was kind of low. he planned ahead. But we split firewood between us to make sure that we had enough for at least a day. All right, the neighbor that's next door to Gene saw us doing that. Then he got in. And before it was over, there's about 3 or 4 houses there. And all of us were, had come up with this one big pile of firewood that we were all going to share. We just use it till it runs out. And when it runs out, we'll go from there. So, 14, 16 hours after that, the firewood is gone. Because you're talking about 4 fireplaces, that'd eat up a lot of firewood. So, Carolyn and I, we decided that, okay, we're not going through another night in here. At least we had the fireplace. We done put up a blow-up mattress in that room. We was fine. But no firewood, so now there's no heat at all. So we decided that we was going to go to the Rays
you know, because they just like you was, Pastor, they ain't lost power, because the Heinzes is lost power. So we'd all come together and decided we're going to the Rays. We're going to go break into Ray's house, and he going to heat us. All right, we get in the driveway. This is like that 16th, 17th hour. And just as we get ready to pull out, you know, we give him that last look at the house, like, I don't want to go, but I got to go. My neighbor's garage door comes up. I'm like, and he wasn't standing there. I was like, I think we got power, y'all. but you know, to shorten this story, before it was over with, we ended up using our house as a warming place for family members, because after the power came back on, we started letting people come into our house that didn't have power. You know, so right when we thought we was going to be blessed, we end up being a blessing, and the people that we let in our house are still there, because they still don't have power. You know, so that's what.
Well, I had told Green them if they didn't get power back, if they needed to come over, over.
Yeah.
You know, we got a couple bedrooms. You know, they bring the food and we just
Yeah. I hear you.
Because they're the cookers over there.
I hear you. Okay, let's get into this separation anxiety. We know what it is now, and how do we deal with separation anxiety? First, with ourselves, you know, because we know we're supposed to help others when we can. But how do I deal with separation anxiety when I'm missing somebody? Like, I use my mom as an example. You know, my mom is in this center, and I can't go see her. Or I can take the drive and go up there if I want to.
Look at it through the window.
Look at her through the window, but that's it. That's close as I'm gonna be able to get. I can't. They're not letting me in there, and I don't blame them for not letting me in there. I was watching some of those sitcom shows that my wife loves to watch, and it was Chicago. You know, they got so many of them. It's the police, the hospital, the fire. It was the one about the hospital, and this young lady, mother had gotten COVID. She was in the hospital, and they wouldn't let her in. She was so her mother passed, and they had to bring her the information to the parking lot. You know, and I was sitting there looking. I was like, wow. I mean, how many times is this happening that we don't know about it because it's not directly affecting us? You know, we have the tendency to only deal with stuff that hits us in the face. And I was just looking at this TV show, and I was like, that when you start thinking about what is it? What are we at on the death toll now? Almost 500,000.
Right below
This has happened to almost 500,000 people that they had to receive the news in the parking lot or something similar.
I had to experience that this year.
Yeah,
I did.
I had to experience that this year, and I was with the family in the parking lot because couldn't go in and see the body. We were in the parking lot, and it's hot outside. You're in the parking lot, waiting on the corners to come and do all of this, and they bring it. It is a difficult. Death itself is difficult.
Yes.
With the added pressures of the COVID thing, and I just pray that this year's it for it. But everything that deals with that, everything with that idea of, you hit on some separation anxiety, is a realness of it. But we don't deal with it like we should deal with it. I mean, when you can't see somebody, when you can't, I know with me and Joyce is, we go to Shreveport at least, I would say 7-8 times a year. Because, I mean, even when my grandma was alive, we go for more than that. But we would go because our mom is there. But, man, since COVID, Joyce has seen her mom one time.
Wow.
One time since COVID has hit.
Yeah.
And she, it's funny, she suited up. I mean, she had the full gear, the head, the double things. And so she just drove there, spent about 2 hours with her mom and came. So she spent 2 hours. Now, she talked to her mom every Sunday they talk. But to see her and be around her is a difficult thing. And so not seeing her, me and Joyce have been married for 26 years, and to tell me that we spent the whole year, I haven't seen my mother-in-law in a whole, I mean, you guys know she comes here when she, so not to do that's a very difficult thing. And I know it's difficult for Joyce because she is definitely a mama's daughter, and so not seeing that, it doesn't necessarily, she doesn't go into any kind of slumps or anything, but it weighs on you when you can't see that. And so, I mean, a lot of times we'll say in the church, we'll make it seem like, oh, just pray about it, just we don't we make it sound like it's nothing. You just pray. I understand pray about things. That still does not eliminate the feelings, because prayer is not this thing that we just use as a remedy for everything. We know it's a solution, but you still got to go through the process. Put it this way, therapy is good for you. If you ever broke something, therapy. Oh, just go to therapy. Yeah, that's the solution. But guess what happens when you go through therapy? If you ever never been to physical therapy, it'll make a grown man cry.
Yes, it will. I've been there. Yes, it will.
And so, but we know that they'll say, well, therapy is going to help you. Yeah, but it's going through that. You're still going to have the pain. Prayer is yes the answer, but you're still going to go through the pain and the issues and the situation. And I think church time, we minimize people so much by saying prayer. Oh, just go through it like this. No, it's more than just saying that, because we all been through something.
Yeah.
We all had to pray ourselves through something. We were praying, but man, it was hurtful or hurt and harm been going through that. And so,
is it that we don't talk about it enough? If we, we sit there and we hold all these emotions, these feelings, and stuff, and we just don't talk about it. When all this come out. I'm gonna say this, and all those who are counselors can ring in. Black people are the worst.
I was just going to say that.
The worst. We have been told, don't you just, and other people, Hispanics, whites, Asian, man, they seek counsel. And the Bible tells us to seek counsel, but something about the black population that we don't, the younger generation is doing more. But us, we ain't gonna talk about it. We gonna tough it up, and that's why we got high blood pressure, we got ulcers, we die because we hold in. Because you're right, Benjamin. We tend to hold that in. If I had told somebody to go see a counselor, oh no. I mean, I recommend that every married couple, I don't care if you're in a good marriage or not or whatever, go to counseling once a year.
Yeah, and you said younger generation. The younger generation don't have a problem talking about it. They're going to say what's on their mind.
Yeah, they do.
And if they're having issues, they're going to get mom, they're going to get dad or mom and dad, and they're going to talk about it. And let them know what's going on, with them.
Joyce tells me all the time. I mean, that's what she does for a living. She says, early on, 90% of the people she saw were white people. Some of that was sprinkled in with some Asians, some Hispanics, but very few blacks. Then when she started to see blacks, they were all under a certain age. Mm-hmm. She had very few older black people. And remember, she's family. She's across the board. She's just not married, but she's across the board. And now, even though she sees probably a little bit more blacks, most of them are younger. Yeah. Because we are still this idea, like you said, Benjamin. If we're going through separation, Edison, you said something earlier, we'll fake it, we'll hide it. And in the church, we had a session. It's almost like taboo-ish to talk about mental health. Not necessarily when we think mental health. When you talk about, I hate to say this, and Josh gonna get it. When you talk about crazy people, we just talking about everyday people who deal with stuff. Just mental health stuff happens every day. That the idea of dreadfully going to work or stuck in a job, that's all mental health. I mean, we say, open the morning up with meditation and prayer and all that. What do you think Christ is telling you to do? Get your mental health together by starting your day off with devotion and all that. But we have this idea that it's my problem. Hang on to them. These are professional people who have studied from a biblical standpoint, because there are Christian counselors who study from a biblical standpoint how to help you get to a certain place in your life, and we just do it because I don't always do it.
Well, I used to do intake because I went to school for licensed chemical dependency counseling, and so we would have to counsel the person that has the addiction, and then we would also have to counsel the family. And I found out most of the time I'm sitting there and I have a sheet of everything that was in the person's system, every kind of drug it was. When I would ask them, my first question was, why are you here? And they'd be like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. Okay, what kind of drugs are you using? Oh, I don't know. I just smoke a little weed. But I'm looking at all this stuff you did. You done broke in houses. You took your mama's stuff. You done stole the jewelry. You doing that. And all of them was like, nobody really wanted to be honest. Even the family members didn't want to be honest. until they did something that was so out, that was way out there, like took the sister stuff, the brother stuff, broke in their house, kinfolks' houses. I don't say it like this. Black people have a tendency to lie to themselves.
More than anything.
And you can do it so long until you start believing the lie.
Yeah.
You start believing.
And this is when we start talking about our whole culture and the whole effect that we have, the issues in our life. Can it be pinned back that separation anxiety from the beginning of who we were? Because majority of us don't have a background where we came to America willingly.
Yeah.
We were brought to
I like
here,
where you put
and so when we look at the issues that deals with separation, it was purposely to keep the family apart, to keep you apart, to make you like this, and then from there, this whole idea of our trust. So I asked the question why, and I love this. I love what I hear now. You hear more white people saying, well, there's a reason why blacks don't. And then you hear on a broadcast, you hear these newspaper says that I understand why black people don't trust medicine because of what we have done, what their history is. And so when you start to hear white people not dumbfounded and says, I don't understand why blacks don't, they are open about that. And we start digging into a lot of that. Separation anxiety is such a, and I don't mean to be the expert, but you just said it, Smith, but that we have been lying to ourselves so much that we have started to believe the lie. And the Bible tells us that says that you can get in such a place that you lean to your own knowledge, your own understanding, that you start to believe what you think you should not believe. And so Smith, you hit it that says that we have been taught and shown, don't share your stuff with nobody. Everything's well and everything. And we are as a group of people are being detrimental to ourselves because we don't want. If I ask everybody to start sharing what they want to share with me, we just have a session. Everybody, oh, Pastor, we all good. We can be the offer by ourselves, and every person to them, man, probably only about 10% of the people are like, yeah, we going through. Everybody's, oh no, I'm good. All hell breaking loose, but we ain't even going to tell Pastor that. Look here, because we got to put this air on. And look here, I live long enough to know that some stuff happened in your life. And it ain't always good. So, because guess what? It's in my life, and I don't mind saying that. Look, I ain't perfect.
We convinced ourselves as a race that we don't want nobody to know when we're going through something.
We've been conditioned to respond that way. And reason why I say that is that not just separation anxiety, but anxiety, period. When I was younger, they would hit me and say, "You better not cry."
Oh yeah.
You better not.
Beat you.
I'm talking about and say
shut up.
Yeah. I mean, just look, me boys ain't supposed to cry. You hope no, you ain't supposed to. And so we get so much conditioned until that at an early age and coming up that way, like, don't you cry, don't you? You don't. They said men are not supposed to show emotions.
Yeah. That's what I was
that
taught.
Was you came up like that?
Yeah.
My uncles did that to me. Boy, you a broken leg. Boy, you better not.
You better not cry.
You better keep on
All
going.
right, we got to take a break.
Suck it up.
We're talking about separation anxiety, and we will be back in 2.
Mark your calendar. The next food pantry volunteer days are February the 26th to 27th. The hours on Fridays are 12 to 2 p.m. for unloading and 5 to 8 p.m. for sorting and packing. And Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. for distribution and registration. Come out and show love through giving. If you know of anyone that might need help, please ask them to complete the form on our website on the Friday before by 7 p.m. RFBC 5-year anniversary t-shirts. If you would like to purchase a RFBC 5-year anniversary t-shirt, God and Us, please see Sister Chandler to place your order. Cost is $18 per shirt. Join us for our interactive Bible study every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. Tune in for a great discussion. Don't forget, online giving is available for tithes and offering using debit, credit, and e-check. Go to www.rowlettfriendship.com under Give. Thank you so much for listening in this far. We love that you are here with us at Church for Real. Do us a solid and tap the thumbs up button on wherever you're getting this feed from. And please subscribe so you don't fall behind on the weekly content we'll be delivering from right here at Rowlett Friendship Baptist Church.
Welcome back to the Rowlett Friendship Baptist Church, Church of Real, where we're talking about separation, anxiety, and just anxiety just by itself.
Yeah, let me say something right quick, Edison. I want to. Sister McKinley said something, and I'm sorry, Edison. I just want to
Go
read
ahead.
this because it relates to what we were saying earlier.
Oh yeah.
And she's saying this because this is what she's experiencing. We've been told what happens here stays here. Some of us will let shame block us from getting some help. Counseling is just a conversation. And a lot of that stuff we just need to get out. Have you ever talked to somebody and you just talk to them? And once you talk to them,
You feel better.
You feel a lot better.
Yeah.
It didn't erase the problem, but
Yeah.
just get it out your system. So
Yeah. And we're looking at the big stuff. What about those little things? Those little things like I know I must maintain my income in order to maintain the bills that I have. I've been told that there's a pandemic going on, and this has been going on for almost a year now, and I need to go to work in order to maintain my income, in order to maintain my house. Mm-hmm. Okay, but if I go to work, I could be infected and die. So we got companies that's doing all kinds of things now. Okay, we'll let half of y'all come in on Monday and the other half come in on Wednesday. Everybody, that has to create anxiety. I think about myself. I'm a contractor. So in order for me to maintain my income, I must go into multiple homes. All right, I got my mask, I got my gloves, I got my, the shield, I got it all. But even with that, I don't know what's on the other side of that door. And I don't, and what's on the other side of that door, don't know what I'm bringing with me. And it's stressful just going from one stop to the next stop. I've noticed that my helper and I, we got this ritual that we go through when we get there. Mm-hmm. We'll stop, we'll look at the house, we'll sit back, we'll take a deep breath. That's just to try to go in with a smile on your face.
Right.
Go in, and we have this routine that's been working for us because neither one of us have come up positive to this point, and I am scheduled to take my vaccine here in the first of the month. I'm trying to do what I can, but I'm just talking about the anxiety of just daily life. Staying in the house, dealing with your people, and you ain't used to it. Yeah. You used to sending your kids to school. You used to the babysitter either picking up, dropping off, or coming to get these kids so you can take a break. You're used to the gaps to rewind, to reset, but they're gone now.
Anxiety is just intense, excessive worrying. Really,
Yeah.
That's the whole definition. Just to make it short, worrying every day.
Yeah.
And I want to let somebody that's out there know that if you have that, go get some help because you're in good company. When you look throughout the Bible, great men of God had anxiety. I'm talking Moses. Had anxiety.
Bad.
He was dealing with people and dealing with so much stuff until he just told God, let me die.
Yeah.
Just let me die. So you in good. We could just walk through the Bible and talk about great men of God that had anxiety.
Yeah.
And because you go to church, it does not navigate you going through a process or having some kind of dealings with anxiety. Everybody up here has had some form of anxiety at some time or another because you worried excessively about some things. And sometimes I was worrying about stuff and that I really didn't even need to be worrying about and stuff. And I'm sitting there praying, I'm praying, and God help me, and God please touch, and then come to find out it wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
So that's just an intense, excessive worrying is really what anxiety is.
Yeah.
Separation anxiety. Just hang the word separation on.
Hold up. You're a preacher down there, word like that?
Wow.
You're a man of God, word like that?
Yeah.
And that's my whole problem. We build up this thing that says that because we walked into this building and have a title, everything. And look here, David. You know, most of his songs was written because he was going through something.
Right.
We sing them like holidays or something. No, David was going through creating a clean heart. Man, that song is sung to me different times.
Yeah.
When he said that, he was going through something because he thought God was going to destroy him because of what he had done and how he had fell away from. Hold on. David, you fell away from your relationship with God? Yeah, David slipped up and messed up.
Yeah, he messed up. And it came down to the point where the baby died. The baby died. The baby's mother, she never did get over that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
David went in, cleaned up, and said, I still got a kingdom to run and sit back on the throne. And that wasn't just the last time he would go through something like that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they might ask, well, why we have this conversation? Because
It's needed.
Because I think we need to have this in this whole body of believers that, you know, we go through something. We go through, and that doesn't make our faith weaker. It actually makes our faith stronger. It doesn't make our hope any dimmer. It makes our hope stronger. Grace still is sufficient. Mercy is still there. We still human. God did not plant in us a seed of perfection or a seed of invincibility. He still says, even more so as because now I believe more, I actually become more needy of who he is in everything I do because I see my flaws. We talked this yesterday.
Yeah.
We have our insecurity, we have our issues, and we're going to stumble and fall. You can be as perfect as you want to try to be for those 2 hours in you in this church. You got the rest of the week to deal with.
Yeah.
So you can front it or you can approach it and attack it. And so that's what we did yesterday. It says we got to attack what we're vulnerable. And anxiety is a real issue.
Yeah, it is. To let you know how the Bible, what the Bible thinks of it as an issue, over 365 times in the Bible, God's word invites, commands, instructs us on how to process fear and anxiety. So, like y'all was saying, David and Moses,
man, you can name
Samson,
you can name them. You can just go down the line.
Yeah.
And listen, this is the thing that that really gets me. A lot of times people that sit out and not in the pulpit look at preachers and pastors like we shouldn't go through some things. They look at us like we shouldn't go through things, but it's just the opposite. Because we are called by God, we have a target on our backs.
Yes, sir.
And the enemy fights us harder than he would fight somebody else.
Yes, sir.
So when you looking up and you see Pastor McKinley, he going through hell sometimes and still have to get up in front of you and still preach to you.
Yeah.
I mean, and pray for you at the same time and stuff. I've been to the point where I thought, God, I'm tired of praying for these Negroes. So I'm sorry.
We all get that sooner or later. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was at one time, I was like, I ain't going back to church. I'm just done with it. I mean, I'm through. I'm through with it. I ain't coming back. I ain't go. Somebody had did something to me.
Yeah.
I got hot. I got mad. I wasn't gonna come back to church. I wasn't gonna do nothing back at church. Then God said, go back in there.
Yeah.
So what my point is that when you see pastors and you see preachers, know that a lot of times we're going through a lot more than other people are because we are targeted. The enemy is targeting us.
And watch this. Any leader of the church
Is doing the same thing.
beat themselves up more than you can ever beat them up. Because there is something about being a leader of God's people, and put it this way, if nobody don't know us, we know ourselves. We know ourselves more than our spouses know ourselves, and so we know our hang-ups and our hookups and all of our issues, and then we have to stand before man. God, thank you for not killing. Lord, thank you for your grace and mercy. Because I'm like you, Smith. It's been a couple times throughout these last 22 years. I'm done. I quit. This ministry thing.
I gotta tell this, Pastor. I gotta tell this. Okay, I was thinking about what both you and Serge said. a statement that I made to my wife. I told my wife, I said, baby, I'm retiring from the church. I'm just gonna quit. I ain't letting these Christians send me to hell. It seems like it hurts more when you're in a leadership position and you're doing everything you can first to survive. Through all the fear and anxiety that you have, that you give yourself, like you said, Pastor. And then one of them jokers intentionally throw a stumbling block out there for you. That cuts to the bone. And these are the same folk that you got to pray for consistently and preach to consistently to try to help and save them, even when you're going through, like you said, Reverend Stewart. Anxiety, this day-to-day anxiety, it ain't no joke.
Well, Sister Alexander, I first experienced this when my sister died, when my marriage ended, and then again when my mom passed. It took for me to lose some parts of my health, my mobility, and other things to accept and need help. Then I came to the conclusion that I needed to learn closer to God, to get more involved in church, and to accept what I had no control over, allow myself to be human, and I can't do it all by myself.
Oh, that's good.
That's the pieces that when we say we can't do it all by ourselves, you just can't come in and sit on Sunday morning and get a good sermon.
No.
You need to be able to help people. We always say that you got to have an accountability person in your life that you share with. And I'm my cousin Eric. You guys met him. We share more stuff with each other, and we don't hold any. There's no facades. There's nothing that we have shared almost every aspect of our adult life. And so you need a person that you can just tell, hey man, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm doing. And sometimes we stay on the telephone for 2 and 3 hours just working through stuff. And because he's been a pastor before, he understands some of the same things that he always says, I'm gonna go over there and preach to those folks over there. And he don't say folks, but he has his own. But it's just the idea of you need to have that person. I can't share all that stuff with Joyce, because Joyce will probably stop coming to church. And so she can't share a lot of stuff with me because I'll tell her to stop going to count. But you need to have a person that you can rely on, and that's why she said counseling is just a conversation.
And it's not just the leaders in the church that's dealing with a lot of
true.
It's everybody. It's everybody. You as a leader on your job, you're in these management positions and stuff. I had something happen to me just this past week. One of my guys, his son committed suicide, and I'm still dealing with that. And he called me in there, and we sat and we talked for a minute and stuff, and it was hard for me to deal with it. Deal with these young people, under that much pressure and not talking about it, not saying something before they decide to make that decision to do that.
Yeah.
What was on this young man's mind?
Yeah.
Well, and you say that, and that's again a product. I heard the same thing. This guy, 27 years old, shot his wife in the back 7 times on Valentine's Day, and they just had a kid 4 weeks ago, and they have another kid, and they only been married. So what kind of pressure are you under that you will kill them and then just left the kids in the house with the mother and just left? If you look at DPS Facebook, and it's on there. But you killed your wife, who you said to death do us part. I love you. Shot her 7 times in the back, left her there, left the kids there, a 6-year-old and a 4-week-old baby, and you left. And the neighbors come over and heard the guns, and the boy comes and says, my daddy shot my mama, and then my mama not waking up. 6-year-old son says that, as he opened the door. And so how much pressure are we under that we can't, I don't know. When you said that, Dick, it just brought back the memory of that and what that mother now have to bury her daughter, and then the mother of the son got to deal with the idea that you just did. So all that goes on in our life because we have built it up that says oh, separation anxiety or anxiety doesn't exist because we're going to fake it till we make it. But what if you fake it so much that you can't make it? And that's what you just said, Deke, that it's starting to affect even our younger generations, that we have told them to be a certain way that we can't even process, and we hate that our parents made us do that. Men don't have emotion. Well, don't come to this church because I'm at the age now where, just talking about Mother Gay 2 Sundays ago broke me down in crying because I know what she's going through and my connection with her and her pain and her aches for losing her husband for the last 30 some odd years, and what she's going through made me get emotional. Now, if my uncles now, my 2 uncles that are still living on my mom's side, they more emotional now. But when I was growing up, you better not be emotional around them. But now those, I call them jokers, but those 2 jokers, they cried at a drop of a hat because we breaking those things that kept us in this bottle for so long. And so, and again, I can talk about this all day long.
I think you have to kind of learn how to do that. Something happened to me. And just to cut it and make the story short, my mother passed away. Then my grandmother passed away. Then my grandfather passed away. I only have one brother. He called me and said, "Hey man, they only gave me 30 days to live. I'm not going to no nursing home. I want to die here in the house. Will you come sit with me?"
Wow.
So I took off work, went down there and stood with him and was right beside the bed when he passed away. And just before he passed away, he was really weak. He threw his hand up and I grabbed his hand and bam, he died. So being separated from all of that, all of my immediate family is gone. And so I had to deal with all of those losses
Individually.
And try to still do what I do. Still get up and sing and praise. And a whole lot of times I was singing and praising and still hurting, going home, hurting by myself because I had been built up this thing that you're not supposed to really show your emotions. And finally it got to the point where I couldn't take it and I just had to talk to somebody. And my thing is that that's what goes through these people. If you can't get it out and you can't talk to somebody and you keep holding and it keeps building up, then you're gonna burst.
Yeah, and then people be looking at you.
And then they'll be like, "Man, why do you do that?"
Well, yeah.
And it could be something.
Have
It could
no
be something.
understanding of it,
Well,
yeah.
and my emotions were so at the point where you could just do something to me, man. I'd be boom. I just be ready to fly off at you.
Yeah.
And that you, Smith, again, what you just said, we let that stuff. And again, this happened on Valentine's Day with this guy. He shot his wife. Got shot in the back 7 times. That to me says that something had built up so much in you, and you never let it out. That you shot a woman in the back 7. You emptied the clip.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so you just said, Smith, we go through this idea that we got to be able to take it on ourselves. And so, because he had this idea that I was joking around with George the other day. We was watching something, and this guy just started busting out crying. And so I said, George, I ain't crying with you. I ain't crying on you no more. And I said that, so I guess I can't go to church no more if I do that, right? but it's just the idea. We was laughing about it, but it's the idea is that we can't process some stuff, and so it stays within us, and the outcome of that, man, is critical. And you said God 365 times in His Word commands, encourage, directs us how to deal with the emotional aspect. So that means for that to happen that many times, that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
it's a part of our
what
lives.
it does, it says you need to prepare for this.
You need to prepare for this.
Not be this idea that is hide it, suck it up. Because I'm telling you, you bet not cry. You bet. Man, how many times I heard that growing up? You bet not cry. Don't be around here crying. You sitting there holding it, trying. You look at about to bust your gut open, not trying.
Yeah. You just.
I think
Right down the room. Put your head in the pillow.
I bet not see no tears.
I've got a whipping for doing that.
I think inadvertently we have give the path on how to deal with this. Pastor, you said you and your wife was talking about a situation that was actually a stressful situation, but you ended up laughing about it. You got to find somebody that you can talk to about your situation to get you to the point to where you can laugh at yourself. Because if you don't, you end up shooting some, the mother of your children, yourself. You'll end up killing, and even worse than that, you may not use a gun, but you may use your tongue. Killing on somebody on a daily basis. Every time, like you said, every time somebody say something to you, you just blow up, and then they're looking at you like, what in the world just happened?
Well, most addictions are based upon our inability to deal with. Now again, I'm not a professional, not anything. It's just I work at a hospital, so I hear this stuff that says that most people are driven to drugs most of the time based upon an emotional condition that they cannot deal with themselves, and so they seek out. Most alcoholics will get drunk because of what they're dealing with or something they don't want to talk about. It. Most drug addicts, not most, I know, because that's kind of. I know drug.
We just say some.
So Smith probably know more about that end of the causes of people that go that drug.
But when they go to a 12-step program, the first step is admitting that you got a problem.
Yeah.
And even with separation anxiety, if you don't know how to admit something going wrong with me, there's sometimes I'm worrying too much. If you don't know how to accept, then even in a 12-step program, drug program, if you can't get past that first step and admit that I have a problem, it's hard for me to deal with you. I mean, and I have actually turned people away because of that same thing. Because if you don't admit you got a problem, then I can't help you. You got to tell me what's going wrong with you. Let me know what's happening. And so I think that's with separation anxiety. First, know that you got the problem. And admit it, that I need to talk to somebody. Admit it that I need some help.
And then go to Hebrews 11:6. And it says, without faith, it is impossible to please him. Without conversation, it is impossible to admit it. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is.
A reward of them that diligently seek him. Is that what you?
I'm glad, Ennis. I'm so glad you said that. And this is very critical. This is very critical because we think there's a separation between God and science,
right?
Because medicine and seeking out help, all that. Well, if I have faith, then why do I go talk to these other people? Why do I seek out medical help? Because everything on that side is medical, whether it's counseling, all that, that's seeking out help. And people always say, well, I gotta have this, but that God did something very uniquely, and we overlook it sometimes. One of his great disciples was what? A doctor. So in doing this, God married science and religion together by having Luke be who Luke was. So he didn't say that, no, I'm above and destroying medicine. It's hand in hand because I created all things. Because I know what you needed to happen to have in your life. Because I hear people say, well, I ain't trusting no medicine. Jesus is my only doctor. Well, Jesus has a doctor as a disciple. So this idea of this idea that I'm gonna separate this because people will say that, and people will say, well, I got faith. I ain't going to sit up. Hold on. If doctors were meant to have, why did Jesus have one of his inner circle? And why is Luke so profound in distributing of the doctrine that Jesus taught in the Bible? So anyway, I'm sorry. That's a
difference.
That's a nerd in me.
And having faith in being a fool.
It's a difference. But Phil, you guys say it again. Get closer to the mic and say it.
I say it's a difference in having faith and being a fool. To sit up there, if you cut your arm open and you bleeding, you can't sit up there and say, Lord Jesus, heal my arm. He's already gave you the provisions to go to the doctor and get healed.
Yes, he has.
So a lot of times, this is like if if a kid fell into the pool and couldn't swim. You be a fool. God save him. Look, he won't do for you what you can do for yourself.
And you can swim.
So what you do is you jump in there and pray, God, give me the strength to help me. Don't mix being a fool with faith.
Philip, you said a mouthful because that same person who says that, well, I ain't going to die, will call Edison as soon as the plumbing break. let the car break down.
Yeah.
They called the person, okay, you're going to sit in the house, your AC not working, and you're in Texas, and it's August the 3rd, 108 degrees.
Waiting on the Lord to turn it on.
You go out there.
You didn't call A1 condition, B3 condition. You went down a whole Rolodex all the way down to Z until you got spotted. And so we pick and choose on that piece, and God has given, I read something, if God is truth, then everything that's truthful is God. So what we're trying to say is, if God is everything, then everything that's in here is God.
Yeah.
So we can't pick and choose what's God and what's not God. This idea that God is only here and He only deals with this stuff. God deals with everything.
Everything.
So
And He gives us, He puts everything at our fingertips.
at our fingertips.
And
That's biblical right there.
He's giving you the provisions for
Everything.
it. He's already given you the provisions for what you need and stuff. So some things, people don't look at me crazy, but some things you ain't got to pray about.
That's right.
This is true.
I mean, I know everybody said, well, pray about everything, but there are some things that you ought to have common sense about. He already gave you the 5 senses, so don't mix being a fool with having faith.
Yeah.
I just got to say it because I know a lot of people get them mixed up. But hey, step back and just use some common sense.
My
If
grandma-
it's cold, don't go outside without a coat.
My grandma said this it's certain things my grandma always said. She said, pray about everything, but she always remind me, common sense ain't common.
Wow.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's available.
Yeah.
It's available,
But it ain't coming.
but it ain't coming.
Wow.
That's good.
I tell you, my grandma was a very smart lady. Only went to the 8th grade.
Well, gentlemen, I thank y'all today for this topic, for this conversation, for your inputs. Thank you, Sister Alexander and Sister McKinley, for your input, because we needed it. But this conversation can't stop here. We're just here to get them started. Now, if you got a situation, find somebody in your life that you can talk to.
Go see a counselor.
See a counselor. Find
See a therapist,
professionals, whatever. Find somebody.
Make it a point to do it yearly.
Yeah.
Make it a point to just say every year, like you do your medical checkup, I'm going to get my mental check. Not that I need to take some medicine or anything, but just for my own mental sanity, I'm going to go talk to somebody and just let everything out.
Yeah.
And you leave that office like, man, I was carrying all that stuff the last year. Whew, can I do this twice a year now? Let me get all this stuff out of me.
And the next thing you know, you counseling somebody instead of you being counseled.
Then you feel a little healthier. You got a little pep in your step.
Yeah.
All that stuff weighs you down.
Yeah. And now, if you thought that today's topic was good, you wait till next week when we talk about why should I be vaccinated.
Well, add this to your list. Add this to your list.
Why you be what?
Add this to your list, and it might be dead.
Vaccinated.
It might be dead by this time. Were you upset with Cruz going out of the country?
Oh my God! Oh, well, that'll be a part of why should I? But that's just the storm part. We get it. We are going to talk about Cruz. yes.
I had mixed emotions about it.
Well, me too, Pastor. I did too.
That's that good thing, bad thing.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Yes.
All the good versus the bad.
Anyway, though, we're joining y'all. We invite y'all to come back in the next 30 minutes. So we are having in-person service, or you can join us online on RowlettFisherBaptistChurch.org. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming out for your conversation. Thank you, viewers and listeners. We will see you back, and if you, God bless you, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Amen. Amen. Kill.